Welcome to NEPA SportsXtra.
I am Dave Rosengrant. This week, we have a chat with Jimmy Hoffman, former standout wrestler at Hazleton Area High School and current standout wrestler for Lehigh University. Hoffman is also fresh off an appearance at the NCAA Championships in St. Louis, Missouri. We begin with more state gold. Athletes from District 2 brought home many state gold medals last week, and with the Wyoming Seminary girls swim team leading the way. The Sem girls picked up a gold medal in the 400 free relay at the PIAA Swimming and Diving Championships. The girls also placed second in the 200 medley relay and were led by Riley Collins, who picked up a fourth and third place medal in individual races. Skylar Rohrig picked up medals, third and fifth place medals, and Alyssa Kelly picked up a sixth place medal in the Class 2A Swimming and Diving Girls Championships. In the boys 2A Championships, Peter Kabash from Lackawanna Trail picked up 2 gold medals, winning 2 state titles. The Lion picked up gold medals in the 100 back and the 200 IM. So there was certainly some great showings by District 2 swimmers at the PIAA Swimming and Diving Championships last weekend. Congratulations to Peter, who won 2 gold medals, and to the Wyoming Seminary Girls Championship team in the 400 free relay. The Wyoming Seminary girls also placed second in the team standings, just 5 points behind champion Villa Maria. There were 2 more state champions crowned last week in girls wrestling. Lily Shearer from Delaware Valley won her 3rd straight state title as she picked up gold in the My House PAUSAW Girls State Championships. Lake Lehman's Alexia Schechterly also won gold. That was her 1st state title. Congratulations to those 2 girls. Also in the upcoming sport of girls wrestling from District 2, Nanako's Caitlin Pegarella took 2nd at the state championship. Western Wayne's Lexi DeSadio took 4th. Delaware Valley's Kaylin Ballbrier was 4th, and Delaware Valley's Sarah Seltzer picked up a 5th place medal. Congratulations to all those girls. Could there be more state gold on the way? Well, coming up this week, there is state duels in wrestling. Delaware Valley and Lackawanna Trail both won their 1st round matches on Monday. Lackawanna Trail won its 2A matchup against Archbishop Ryan and will now face Boiling Springs in the state quarters. Delaware Valley defeated LaSalle in the 1st round of the Class 3A tournament and will face will face Springford in the quarterfinals. The semifinals and the finals will both be held this weekend at Cumberland Valley High School. So there's a chance for more state gold there in wrestling. Good luck to those teams. Also with a chance for state gold are girls and boys basketball. Old Forge is playing in the Class 2A semifinals, the boys, against Constitution. Looking for a chance to get to the Giant Center in Hershey to play for a state title. In the Class 4A girls semifinals, Scranton Prep will face Archbishop Wood, again looking for a shot to get to Hershey and the state championship game. Good luck to those 2 teams. So there's a lot of exciting things going on here in District 2 this week with state championships going on. It's possible that this trend could continue with state champions as we go into the spring season. The last time we saw spring sports in the entire state was in 2019. But when those sports were taking place, there were a lot of state champion contenders, whether it be in baseball or softball or track and fields, tennis, boys volleyball. A lot of good teams that are just starting to take the field now for spring sports. They had young teams in 2019. They'll be coming back stronger. These athletes want to play. They've missed the time with their teams. They're excited. They're ready to go. Speaking of spring sports, boys tennis started this week. And starting later this week is boys volleyball. And on Saturday, the 27th, girls lacrosse will get a start. So the spring sports are getting underway. The weather's turning nice. It's an exciting time for everyone to get out, enjoy the weather, see some sports, play some sports, and get active. As I said earlier, the NCAA Wrestling Championships were held this past weekend in St. Louis, Missouri. Jimmy Hoffman, who was a standout wrestler at Hazleton Area, participated in 2 matches. Unfortunately for Jimmy, he lost a pair of really close matches and was eliminated without getting a medal and being an All-American. In his first match, it was really close loss by 1 point. The point actually was just a riding time point. At the end, it looked like he might have gotten a takedown there, but wasn't awarded any points. And in his second match, it was really close in the third period before it kind of slipped away from him, and he was eliminated. However, he will get another shot at it. This was pretty much a free year for NCAA wrestlers, and he will be back next year, coming back with a vengeance, trying to become an All-American. All right, everyone probably knows our guest today. He's a 2-time NCAA qualifier for Lehigh University in wrestling and a 2-time state finalist for Hazleton Area wrestling. Jimmy Hoffman, welcome.
Thank you.
So you just finished up the NCAA tournament in St. Louis. You had a few tough losses there. I thought you probably should have won at least one of them, if not both of them. You had some tough calls there. But regardless, you still had a pretty productive season. So what did you take from this season?
Yeah, this year was crazy. It's just a really weird season overall in general. But if anything, it was just being able to compete was just the best part about it, especially the way last year ended. No NCAAs definitely took advantage of being able to get on the mat this year.
What was that roller coaster like, so to speak, last year when you finally get to the NCAA tournament, you qualify for it, and then the rug is kind of pulled out from underneath you and you learn that you're not going?
Yeah, we were literally preparing to go out. I think we were 2 days away from flying out, and everyone's weights were down. We were gearing up. We were ready to go, and then coaches called us in for a team meeting, and we went up to Caruso Complex, and they told us that they canceled it. It was very, very nuts. It was definitely crazy, and it was terrible. I really felt bad for our seniors because we had a title contender with Jordan Cutler last year, who very easily had an opportunity to win it. So watching him, and he was a senior, so watching him lose that was heartbreaking for those guys.
What was it like for you personally? You finally reached that point and then you realize, oh man, it had to be heartbreaking at that point.
Yeah, it really was. But in general, like I said, I kind of felt bad for the other guys more because I knew I was still going to have an opportunity to go out there and other years. But yeah, like you said, it was heartbreaking for sure because I was so looking forward to going out there to compete, but unfortunately it just didn't happen.
And then kind of on the same wavelength, this season was a lot different than previous seasons that you were used to. So what was like the biggest difference for you this year as opposed to, you know, last year or any kind of normal season, so to speak?
Yeah, it was really really hard to find a groove. All year we were really really strict with our COVID guidelines, where we weren't able to do anything. Um, there was so many times where we would train for a week at a time, and then next thing you know, we're put in a 2 week quarantine. I think that happened like 4 or 5 times this year, like in general, where we were going 2 week pauses, and that just it messes everything up. Where we can't go in our the wrestling room. We're not wrestling for 2 straight weeks, which hurts not only your wrestling but your weight. So I mean, it was just really hard to put all the pieces together and to get into the just to get after it. Honestly, it was brutal.
How are you able to cope with all that? Like with your weight and everything and not being in the room, not practicing, were you able to get outside and run? Like were you dieting a lot? Like talk about what that was like.
Yeah, the you got to be super strict. It was all about discipline during those times. So yeah, diet was super important, and like you had to figure out a way to get your workouts in. So yeah, we would go out and run, and then our coaches they actually brought the Airdyne bikes down to our houses, so we were able to actually get like a good hard conditioning workout in. But it still doesn't compare to wrestling itself.
Right, it's got to be hard to get in a groove when you keep taking all those stops, right?
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Have you been to the NCAA tournament before this year, like just as a spectator or anything?
No, never. Last year would have been the first year, and then this year was the first year I was ever there then.
Did you kind of get what you expected, like just atmosphere wise, except for the lack of 20,000 fans?
Yeah, it walking into the arena, especially, it was kind of like it was at States the very first time you went in there. Day one, that Wednesday, usually when you go down, it's like the whole practice room area type of thing. So we were able to get a feel for it that day. But even then, we were only allowed an hour time limit to even go about it and everything. So you weren't able to actually soak everything up because you had to go in there and lose the weight. But in general, yeah, I would say it was definitely what I expected. But having all the fans would have been really really cool.
I assume you got to see the finals, right?
Yeah, we were right there.
Okay. Your take on the 149 bracket there with Sasso and with O'Connor, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the best finals I thought. So what was your thought on that one?
Yeah, they're both really nice kids. Actually, I wrestled Austin in the middle of the year. Actually, I talked to him afterwards. He's a really nice kid. And Sammy, I've been wrestling with him since I'm 5 years old. So definitely looking forward to that match for both of them. I thought they both wrestled really well, and it was, I agree, very exciting.
The scenario that's going on with Stanford, obviously that's devastating to see that. But you were in attendance there, and you saw Shane Griffith from Stanford win, and possibly the last match ever for Stanford. And then the crowd erupted and started chanting Stanford and everything. What was that like to be part of that?
Yeah, that was awesome. It was great to see just how the wrestling community comes together. There really is no brotherhood or a family per se that is quite like the wrestling family. So it was awesome to share that moment with him.
You talked to your old coach Keith Maurer a lot.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Last year, you guys wrestled Penn State, and you wrestled against Penn State. Yeah. What was that like? Did you text him at all? When you were wrestling against Penn State, because he's obviously a Penn State alum.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. One of the Lehigh Valley writers, they actually contacted me about that because they knew he was a Penn State alum. So I did a little bit of a interview with them, and I was talking about how um, just in general, I just really wanted that match really badly, just to say, "Hey, coach, there you go." So yeah, I was texting back and forth about that match, and it was all nothing but love, because he was like, obviously he wants Penn State to win, but he was saying he was obviously going to cheer for me for the 149-pound match.
How often do you get to text him?
We stay in contact. I wouldn't say like super often, but when like the big stuff's coming up, he'll either reach out to me or I'll reach out to them for like when they're going through like their postseason, or anytime like I'm really wrestling, that he'll definitely reach out.
So you probably follow your old team a lot then, I would guess. You're not too
Yeah.
far from home either.
Yep. I'm always constantly looking how they're doing.
What's your take on their season this year? Obviously, there was a lot of differences and, but a couple state qualifiers, Bryce Molinaro picked up a state medal.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I know they were battling some issues with COVID and stuff as well. So, I mean, everyone was, but it was nice seeing Bryce go out there and get a state medal. That was big for him and his family.
He wasn't on the team when you were there, but he was coming up through the elementary program. Did you get to meet him or talk to him at all or anything like that throughout your years?
Yeah, I wrestled. He was there since the beginning. So like, especially elementary school when I was around fifth, sixth grade, I think maybe even a little bit younger. But yeah, he started at a pretty early age. So yeah, I knew their family and him for a very long time.
What's it like for you as, either a high school wrestler or collegiate wrestler when you have young kids who are looking up to you?
It's nice knowing that those guys do look up to me, but like I'm just trying to set a great example, just so they lead, or so they could do it as well for like the kids below them.
How much does it kind of help when, you're doing like Zoom training programs for little kids and things like that, and not so much for them to follow you, but to get them training the right way?
Yeah, that's super important. It's awesome that they're willing and they want to get better. So they're doing all this stuff to try to learn from some of the best guys in the country. So it's nice knowing that the little guys really want to get after it when they want to do the right things.
How much do you like doing that kind of stuff, like teaching little kids?
I love it. I just like seeing they're so funny. So no matter what, they're always having a blast, and that's all it is. It's all about having fun right now. So just getting them to do the basics, having fun while doing it, and then just getting on from there.
You obviously follow Hazleton because you're from Hazleton. You still follow the Wyoming Valley Conference a little bit. You see Jaden Pepe won a state title this year.
I did. I was watching him. He had a great run this year. It was awesome.
Do you know him, or I know he's a few years behind you?
Yeah, no, I actually don't. I don't know him personally, but I was talking to Steve Middich, who is a coach at Binghamton now, and he was telling me that his dad, because his dad's the Wyoming area coach, he's saying he trains with him a lot. Says he's a great kid, so really happy to see him do well.
And he's only a sophomore now, so he's got some pretty high expectations going forward, I would guess.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good for him. Be a three-time state champ.
You got to two state finals. So what kind of advice would you give someone like Jaden who is trying to get back there again next year? Like how hard it is to get back?
Yeah, for sure. I would have to say that stay hungry. Just because you got there once doesn't mean that the people are going to give you all the respect and just going to let you get there. So you got to take what you want and keep grinding for it all the time.
What have you learned this season that you're going to take with you for next season or possibly even the year after, as we were talking before? Just wrestling wise, career wise, life wise, whatever.
Take advantage of all the opportunities you have. You never really know when the last one could be. And no matter what's in front of you, you just got to go out there and just do it.
And before we came on, we talked a little bit about your two matches at the NCAA tournament, and you said you're going to learn from those two losses. So what can you learn and to get better from those two losses that you had?
So I would have to say specifically, the first periods definitely I didn't open up as quickly as I wanted to. In that Cannon Store match, the very first match, I kind of let him dictate the pace in the beginning, and he ended up getting the takedown and scored his points early, and that was kind of the difference in the match. Whereas at the end of it, I was really starting to come on strong and putting myself in positions to win the match. So if I could do that for 7 straight minutes and tune everything else out and just go out there and do my thing rather than worry about everything else, I think that's a great thing to learn from and use going forward.
And how is Lehigh set up now for the next couple of years, especially next year going forward?
Yeah, we have a young roster. Um, I would have to say maybe we only lose like maybe one person, and he could potentially even come back, which is our 197 pounder. So we have a super young lineup and a really talented team. We just weren't able to showcase it as much as we want to this year, but I think we'll be all right.
All right. Great. Jimmy Hoffman, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We end this episode with a little more NCAA news, sticking with college sports. The Lackawanna College football team will begin play this weekend on Sunday, March 28th, as they play the Sussex County Community College. Lackawanna College is always one of those teams that packs in the great players from all over the country. This year on the team, they have players from as nearby as Scranton and as far away as Florida. They also have players from Georgia, South Carolina, Ohio. It's really a unique experience to be part of that team. They get great players from all over the country. The MAC, the conference where Kings, Wilkes, and Misericordia belong to for most of their sports, made an announcement this week that they will start a spring pod for fall sports that includes the sports of field hockey, men's soccer, women's soccer, and women's volleyball. Basically, what this is a 5-week exhibition series that will run from March 27th to April 28th for those sports, and it will allow those teams in field hockey, men's soccer, women's soccer, and women's volleyball to get active again for the first time since their seasons were canceled in the fall. It's nice to see things getting back to normal a little bit and allowing more and more athletes to play some sports, get out there and run around in the nice weather and get active again. That'll do it for this week's episode of NEPA Sports Extra. As always, give us a follow on Twitter and Facebook. And if you have any questions or comments, reach out to us by email at nepasportsextra@gmail.com. That is NEPASPORTZXTRA. It is the same handle on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. And also, we have started a series of trying to help out sports businesses get more publicity and get athletes out playing of all age, whether it's youth, adult, high school, whatever. So if you have a sports related business, league, or team and want to get featured or showcased on one of our podcasts, again, please reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, or email. And until next time, I am Dave Rosengrant saying, find a little extra time in your life for some sports in NEPA.